Good evening, Bruchim Habayim Rabotai. Welcome to another edition of our Thursday night's class. Tonight's class was sponsored generously Leilui Nishmat Eliyahu Ben Bachmal. May the Torah we learn and the mitzvot that come out of it be a zchut for him and his neshama b'makom ha'elyon began Eden v'tzadikim v'chasidim. Amen v'amen. We spoke a little bit last week about Ahavat Yisrael, and I got many responses. I think this was the class that I probably got the most responses to in the past few years. I spoke my heart, I spoke my mind. I don't take back one word that I said over there. If anything, I say them even stronger. But the responses weren't to the substance of the class. It was all to one shot that I called of not taking keys away from a teenage kid. That's what it was. If you were here last week, you know what I'm talking about. And if not, go find the class online and listen to it. So, I promised a few of my critics that I will address it, but not from a parenting perspective, from a Jewish philosophy perspective. We're nearing 1,949 years from Churban Beit HaMikdash. Amen. I want to share with you an experience that I had when I was 11 and a half years old with the great Torah giant Chacham Yehuda Tzadka Zecher Tzadik V'Kadosh Levacha Zchuto Yagen Aleinu. Chacham Yehuda Tzadka, the leader of Am Yisrael at the time, the great Rabbi, Moshiach Porat Yosef, Manhig Ador, was extremely involved in giving advice, in guiding, in being posek halachot and other things for those who were involved in public service. My father, Shibadel Chaim Tovim, was the founder of many famous kiruv organizations that exist today. Amongst them, for example, my father opened Arachim about 35 years ago, and a bunch of others as well. And he used to frequent by Chacham Yehuda Tzadka to get advice on different situations, what's right, what's wrong, what do we do, what don't we do. This was all new back then. And everything was done according to Da'at Torah. As a result, they were more active in Israel than they were in the United States of America. Kiruv in America 35 years ago wasn't such a popular item. And we used to spend many of the holidays and the summers in Israel, as a result of my father having to go to seminars and speeches and so on. Right before one of the seminars, a tough halakha question came up. Honestly, I don't remember what it was. And my father told me, I'm going to Chacham Yehuda Tzadka today to ask him what to do tomorrow at a seminar. And I told my dad, if you're going to Chacham Yehuda, I want to go also. So he said, what are you going to go do? I said, I want to get a blessing. I want to go. They said, you want to get a blessing? Come. So I went with him. They spoke, whatever they spoke, I don't remember much. One part of it I do remember, that Chacham Yehuda Tzadka had publicized, this was in the month of Av. It was right after Tisha B'Av. Chacham Yehuda Tzadka had publicized that year on Tisha B'Av to his students, that he recommends all the students that right after Tisha B'Av they should go clothing shopping, and they should buy a new outfit, more expensive than all the clothes they have. Get it checked for shatnez, tailored, fitted, everything. And they should keep it in the closet. Shouldn't touch it. Why spend more money on an outfit that you'll never touch? So he said, because a person needs a new outfit to be mekabel pnei Mashiach tzidkenu. When Mashiach comes, you got to put on a new outfit. If when you go pass over to a hotel, you got to bring 86 different outfits. Because what happens, even though Passover is only 8 days, because what happens if, God forbid, you came down to the meal and your friend's wearing the same thing as you? So kal vachomer, 1,000 times over, for Mashiach, you need a good outfit. And this was very not Chacham Yehuda Tzadka's type to say. And my father asked him about this. He said, Rabbi, what's this? Yilamdeinu Rabbeinu. Go buy an outfit for B'yat Mashiach. We heard that great tzaddikim in different generations did it. But for the Hamon Am to say that just like that, throw it out there as a blanket statement to all the students, what does that mean? And Chaim Yehuda Tzadka told him this wasn't my idea. I thought of it because of a story that somebody told me. Okay, what's the story? He said, I had a student that for many years didn't have children. There was a medical issue that they couldn't have kids. And he used to come to me for blessings, and I would bless him with my whole heart every day. Every time he came. I don't know every day, but every time he came. But nothing helped. He said, from Shamayim, we don't understand. At one point, he told me that he heard from a different rabbi. Chaim Yehuda Tzadka didn't mention the name of the rabbi. A sgula. And he wants the approval of his Rabbi, Chaim Yehuda Tzadka, to know if he should do it or not. So Chaim Yehuda said, okay, what's the sgula? What do you want to know? So he said, I was told that if I make a room in my house as a baby's room, and I buy a crib and a carriage and baby clothing or whatever, that it's a sgula to have a baby. What do you say? So Chaim Yehuda Tzadka told him, really, I would say no. Because if anything, it would be an ayin hara, it wouldn't be a sgula. But being that you tried everything else already, and it didn't work, so you have nothing to lose. So if you have nothing to lose, try it. And the guy went and did it. Chaim Yehuda Tzadka said that 11 months later, his wife had a baby boy. I hope the clothing he bought was blue. Otherwise, they would have to do a lot of returns. So he said he heard the story. He was a sandak by the Brit. He said over the story. And because of that, he said what came to him then was on Shabbat, he's going to tell the students that we're going to do the same sgula. Same idea. Everybody's going to go buy clothing for Biat Mashiach Tzidkenu, and then Mashiach will come. Unfortunately, this story happened many, many years ago. And Mashiach didn't come, maybe because we didn't all go buy clothes, I don't know. But one way or the other. So we were on the subject, my father and him, and I was just the young kid listening on the side. We were on the subject of discussing Mashiach. So right before we left, I got a very warm blessing. My father got a blessing. And at the end of my father's blessing, my father told Chaim Yehuda, Rabbi, we just spoke about Biat Mashiach. Make a blessing that Mashiach should come. And this is right after he said that he just told the students to buy clothes to expedite the process of Mashiach coming. Chaim Yehuda Tzadka looked at my father and he told him these words. Chaim Yosef, from you to hear that, I'm surprised. You and I secretly every day should pray that Mashiach shouldn't come. And then he tells him 3 more words in Hebrew. V'kach ani noheg. And that's what I do. My father got the shock of his life. Pray Mashiach shouldn't come. What happened to Aninu Amin be'emunah shleima be'viat Mashiach ve'af al pi she'yitma'ameh im kol zeh achakeh lo. We have to wait for Mashiach to come every second of the day. And some of the poskim ask, the Chazal say that Mashiach doesn't come ba'arvei Shabbatot and could be not on Shabbat either. So what does it mean? Achakeh lo b'chol yom she'yavo. There are days that Chazal say Mashiach won't come. And the poskim have a very interesting answer. That under normal circumstances, Mashiach doesn't come on Arvei Shabbatot, Mishum Kvod Shabbat, and other times as well. But in our generation already, it's not a question. Because Mashiach coming is an inyan for Pikuach Nefesh. And Pikuach Nefesh is Doche Kvod Shabbat, it's Doche Shabbat, it's Doche everything. If you're in the middle of doing your preparations for Shabbat and you're a doctor, and a patient calls you with a life-threatening emergency, you say, I'm sorry, I'm busy, I'm in the middle of making chamim, you're a murderer. You drop everything, you run. So maybe Mashiach under normal circumstances doesn't come in certain times because of respect for certain Jewish events. But in a generation that we lose people every hour, it's pikuach nefesh. Got to stop the bleeding. So at that point, the poskim say that would be the reason why he would be allowed to come. Now listen to this. My father turns Chaim Yehuda and he says, but how could you pray that Mashiach shouldn't come? And why would you want to do that? And he told him like this. Of course, I don't say this in public. And of course, I don't want other people to know this. But to you, I'm telling it to you. They said, why? Why am I different? He said, you said tomorrow you're going to a seminar. What does that mean? That with Siyatad Shmaya, 250 people are going to come in on a Thursday behaving like Goyim, and on a Monday behaving like Jews again. He said, imagine Mashiach comes tonight. those 250 souls, Lenetzach Nitzachim, are lost. He said, you want Mashiach to come? Let him wait another week. Bring a few more Jews closer before that. That was the way in Adam Gadol thought. Part 1. Part 2. 2 years ago on Rosh Chodesh Av, I attended a bar mitzvah of my youngest brother. Now you know I have a brother who's really young. By the bar mitzvah, one of the great tzaddikim of our generation was in America at the time, and he came to respect and he spoke. His name is Harav Don Segal Shlita, one of the greatest tzaddikim alive. Just so you get a little glimpse of what it means a tzaddik in our times. We're used to hearing the word rabbi, and as a result we have no respect for anybody anymore, maybe rightfully so. But rabbis and tzaddikim have nothing to do with each other. It's two separate subjects. I'm talking about a tzaddik. Rav Don is not a rabbi, he's a tzaddik. In 1997, I had the zchut to drive him to Miron, Tzfat, Tveria, and Amuka. He decided he wants to go pray in Kivrot HaTzaddikim. It was Erev Rosh Chodesh, I think it was Erev Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. And we went from place to place. Maybe it was 98, either 97 or 98. And we went from place to place. I was just a driver. And many interesting things I saw that day, which honestly, not all of them did I understand. Until today I don't understand many of them. Amongst them, that Rav Don looked at me and I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and he told me put on a seatbelt. And I looked at him and he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. And that didn't sit well with me. So I told him, Rabbi, I learned from the best. So he told me, for me it's not hishtadlut. For you it is hishtadlut. He said, I live in a different set of laws. So for me that's not an obligation. But for you it is an obligation. We were driving on Gvish Arava, and at a certain point there was a police checkpoint, and they were checking for seatbelts. I told them, Rabbi, put on a seatbelt before we get to the thing so we don't get a ticket over here. He said, I already told you, for me it's not hishtadlut. I said to myself, kaparat avonot, we'll pay a fine, what do we do? Respect, tzaddik, he has his ways, they make no sense to me, but okay, if that's what he wants, that's what he wants. We come to the thing, the officer looks at me, he says, oh, very nice, you guys are wearing seatbelts. And he lets us go. Not only does he just wave, he compliments us. And Rav Don says, you see, I am also wearing a seatbelt. So that you don't see it, that's because your eyes don't see right. Anyway, we went to Miron, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, we went to Amuka, Rabbi Yonatan ben Uziel, each place the rabbi was praying. Tfilot v'tachnunim. Tfilot v'tachnunim. I was told by his son that his father didn't go to Rabbi Balanes's grave for sure in 30 years, could be forever, never. And I should make sure to drag him to Tveria, to Rabbi Balanes's kever, because his father, as it is a big miracle maker, and he'll go to Rabbi Balanes's kever, he says, get a blessing from my father by Rabbi Balanes's kever, you're set for life. So I didn't ask. The whole way he was telling me, I want to go here, I want to go there. It was towards the end of the day. Tveria was the last stop. He says, let's go to Kever Rabbi Akiva in Tveria. We went. After that, he said, Nosim li Yerushalayim, we're going back to Jerusalem. When he said, Nosim li Yerushalayim, I didn't go to Yerushalayim. I took a little detour, it's not so far, it's only a quarter of a mile, half a mile away, and I drove to the grave of Rabbi Meir Balanes. When I pulled up here, he says, where are we? I said, we're by Rabbi Balanes's Kever. He said, so go, it's a good idea. So I said, Chacham, I came for you. We went to all the Kivrot HaTzadikim, Rabbi Meir Balanes. He was the student together, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. We went to Rabbi Akiva the Rebbe. We went to Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai, one of the students. We went to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, another student. Now we got to go to Rabbi Meir Balanes. He says, go, it's good. I said, Rabbi, I got to tell you the truth. I got the inside scoop that I got to take you here. And that's going to do good for me in life. You got to come. And he says, I'm not going. He says, if you want to go, I'll wait in the car, but I'm not going. So I said, what do you mean you're not going? And suddenly his face turns red. And he almost looked angry. Now, of course, he's a tzaddik, he didn't get angry, but he looked annoyed with me. And he tells me it's been over 25 years that I didn't see the face of a Rasha, a Goy, or a woman. And you want to make me sin? Because Rabbi Meir Ba'anes's grave, La'aleinu, some people think it's the beach. They forget how to get dressed. It's right across the street from the beach. Maybe that's why. How many of us could say 25 minutes today, we didn't see the face of a Rasha? How do you know who's a Rasha at all or not? To have Ruach HaKodesh for that alone. That's where his concession was, that he's about Ruach HaKodesh. A woman, he doesn't know what his daughters-in-law look like till today, by the way. He has no idea what they look like. He doesn't have daughters, so it's not applicable about daughters. But he has no idea what his daughters-in-law look like. A woman or a goy for 25 minutes, forget about years. And this is ongoing until this very day. So he's definitely the Tzaddik Ador, Torah giant in the greatest way. 2 years ago, he showed up to this bar mitzvah of my brother. And he spoke, and let me tell you what he said. He didn't speak about a bar mitzvah at all. He spoke about something else. Rosh Chodesh Av, he quoted the Gemara, Mishenichnas Av mema'atim b'simcha. When Av comes in, we lessen our level of joy. It doesn't say we're depressed. A Jew always has to be happy. We just lessen a bit the level of joy. And he said like this. He said, for Hashem to bring Mashiach is no big deal. He could do it any second of the day, at any time. And the one who would benefit most from Mashiach coming is God himself. God Kaviyachol is a homeless right now. There's no, he has no house. In a couple of hours from now, maybe our learning should be a schut for them as well. There's a lot of stress right now in Israel, because you machshemam v'shem zichram of these Arabs. They promised tomorrow that in a few hours, in the morning in Israel, it's a couple of hours from now, they're all going up to El Aqsa, to where our Bet Mikdash was, close to 2,000 years ago. And they don't care what the Israeli police's rules are or not, and they're doing whatever they want, and they're making a big ruckus. Hashem should blind them all, they shouldn't be able to do anything. They already wounded 5 soldiers this week and 2 last week. On El Aqsa. They took guns out of their mosque. They don't even respect their own religion, these lunatics. Their own mosque they use to keep guns in, to take guns out of their, what they say is their holiest place, to go wound Israeli soldiers, Israeli police officers. Hashem should send them for these young tzaddikim that risk their life every minute of the day to protect our borders. Tzaddikim, great tzaddikim. We should always have them in our hearts and our prayers. Hashem every day has to see the place that his house was desecrated by the lowest of the lowest lowlifes, who are utilizing the place to hurt his own children, to hurt his own people. You know how painful that is? Imagine, we should never know, a guy was very rich, something went wrong, he lost all his money. The bank came and repossessed his house. He has no house now. Shalom Nidad should be only on Sonei Yisrael. And one day he sees that who bought the house off the bank auction? The guy who stole his money from him, which is the reason why in the first place he lost his money. How much is that going to hurt him? It'll kill him, right? He'll never be able to walk by bad enough he lost his house. Who's the one who's living in it? The guy who in the first place cheated him out of his money. Am Yisrael's in exile 1949 years from Chuban Bayit Sheni. Because of Yemach Shemam v'Zichram, these Bnei Ishmael, that caused Am Yisrael to do sins and other things, and as a result there was a Chuban HaBayit. And what does Hashem have to see every day? That these people who caused the problem in the first place, who caused God to have to burn down the Beit Mikdash in the first place, Yemach Shemam, these are the people that are on the place where his house was. And that are utilizing the place where his house was to fight his own kids. It's a little glimpse into Tzar HaShechinah, into the pain of Hashem. Comes Abdon and he says, so why is Hashem tolerating all of this? Let him wipe him out. Let that mosque blow, not even to the ocean. Even the ocean doesn't deserve such a disgusting thing. Let it evaporate. Yeah, you don't pollute the ocean. It's not, you go to the beach, you throw your wrappers inside. It's disgusting. Their mosque is more disgusting than your wrappers. Yeah, that was politically incorrect, I'm aware. But that's the truth. Let him bring Mashiach and that's it. He'll have his house again, everything will be good, everything will be perfect. So Abdon said a thing that shook the room up. And this stayed with me 2 years straight. This thing doesn't leave me for a minute of the day. Literally. Doesn't leave me, this thought. He said, Hashem is willing, Kaviyachol, to lay on the floor, to be trampled by these lowlifes, to be humiliated, to be embarrassed, to be the worst of the worst, just that maybe, before Mashiach comes, one more Jew will get closer. One more of his kids will have a chance. And he's willing to take this hit for close to 2,000 years. Because Baruch Hu, Av HaRachamim VaSlichot, is willing to be nirmas, to be trampled, to be Hashem Yerachim, to put up with the worst in the world. Just that maybe, one day, one Jew will have one Hilul Tshuva. They'll say, my way is wrong, I got to get closer to God. This is the sacrifice of Hashem. And that's why Chamid Tzadka said, I pray every day that Mashiach shouldn't come. Because Hashem prays every day that Mashiach shouldn't come. To give you and me a chance to get closer, to be on a higher level, to be ready when Mashiach Tzidkenu comes. Amen. So that's my response to all those who didn't like my theory last week. Mahu rachum, afata rachum. Mahu chanun, afata chanun. Chazal learn out. V'halachta b'drachav. There's a mitzvat aseh deoraita for a person to go in the footsteps of God. What does it mean to go in the footsteps of God? I'm not God. So the Gemara says, just like God has mercy, you have mercy. Just like God has patience, you have patience. Just like God is charitable to mankind, you be charitable. That's what Chazal HaKadoshim teach us. So if Hashem is willing 1950 years to be in Galut, so maybe one Jew will come closer. Today a parent has the arrogance to say, I'm putting boundaries and I'm not putting up with what my son's doing. He's not my son, I don't want to know him anymore. And then to have the chutzpah to do it in the name of God, to say that this is what Hashem wants, when Hashem for 1950 years is doing the opposite extreme. Now it's clear why I said to give the kids, not to touch that kid's keys. That's going in God's way. God was willing to be trampled on. So maybe one day the person will come closer. And every Jewish parent should never have to be tested with this. But if they ever are, should be willing to be stepped on, that maybe one day his kid will come back to the right way. That maybe one day the kid will realize, my parents love me so much, look how much garbage they put up with all these years. Time to reroute. Time to look for a better way. No, I don't want my kid at home. He's going to ruin my other children. You're ruined. That's the problem. You ruined this kid in the first place. Now clean up your own mess. I don't want my kid at home. Chazal HaKadoshim, other than Avraham Avinu, which had a special tzivui Hashem, don't have situations where we ever threw a kid out of home. And even that was a special tzivui Hashem that Avraham didn't want to do, and he had to do, and there's a whole calculation in the Zohar why it had to happen. But other than that, there wasn't that. Yitzchak Avinu wanted to give the blessings to Esav, not to Yaakov. You have two kids. One is a straight A student in school, gives you the easiest time in the world. The other one, every day, either the social worker, the principal, the teacher, or all of the above call you. And today they're even worse. They don't even have the patience or the care to call. They email you an official document, which is a copy and paste for 20 other parents they just sent it to. You know how I know I'm not exaggerating? Because parents consult with me all day. I answer 30, 40, 50 questions sometimes in a day, many days much more. And I tell them to forward me the emails. You know how many principles, if I would expose them, I can show you all the copies and pastes, the words are word for word the same thing? There wasn't even enough care to customize an email to a parent on their kids' needs. Even that's not left. the kid is not behaving, the fit is not right, either therapy twice a week and then, or in simple English, have a good day. What happened to Hashem's way? What happened to Hashem who was willing to be stepped on? So what, your honor wasn't respected high enough? But us as parents, our straight A son, he comes to you, Dad, I need to do this. Yeah, sure, right ahead. I want to go here. Go. I want to go with my friends. Go. The other kid, what condition, this is what somebody asked me yesterday, what condition do I have to make with my kid in order to let him go to camp? I said, the only condition you have to make is you to go to a psychiatrist. That's it. That's the only condition. What do you want from the kid? What do you want? He's a kid. You're an adult thinking like a kid. You need help. It's hard to hear. It's not what we're used to. Kibud av va'em. That's what the next story. I got to teach him kibud av va'em. So before I even get into any discussion with any parent over those words, kibud av va'em, my first question is, are you shomer Shabbat? Do you keep tzniut, kosher, and all tayag mitzvot 100%? And ein tzaddik asher yaseh tov v'lo yechta. There's nobody who could say yes. And at that point I say, so you don't have kibud av va'em. Your Father in Shamayim, who gives you everything in the world, you have zero respect for, because it's not my way. I'm not on that level yet. So your teenager's not on that level yet either. For you, you understand. I can't cover my hair. I'm not on that level yet. So your teenager's also not on that level. What's the problem? It's a perfect fit. It's a perfect fit. Maybe that's why Dafka Avraham Avinu, there was a tzaddik gamur, that there was no pgam of chet in him, and so on. He was allowed to already negotiate with his son. Yitzchak already said, this don't work. And instead of going to the good kid and saying you could have everything, and to the troublemaker and saying you could have nothing, he went to Esav and wanted to give him the blessings. He went to the troublemaker. And he was going to give him everything. Because he said he needs it more. Because maybe when he'll see how much I'm giving him, that's what's going to bring him closer. Maybe if we would get up and tell our friends how much Hashem gives us every day, that's what would bring us and our surroundings closer. And that's the only thing that'll work. Hashem gives and gives and gives. Atov ki lo chalu rachavecha, v'amrachem ki lo tamu chasadecha. God is good, and His mercy never ends. Keeps on giving. If He nitpicked with us, it wouldn't look too good. It wouldn't look too good. If He behaved with us the way we behave with our children, we'd all be in bad shape. When your son doesn't get up on time for his bus in the morning, the whole house is upside down. 3 rooms over, you could hear it. Get up already! You're going to miss your bus! You got to be in school! You this, you that! Now imagine, every time you didn't wake up for Kriyat Shema, God made an earthquake under your house to wake you up. You wouldn't have a house in 24 hours. So wait a second, that's a double standard. For you to sleep as much as you want, now wake up as one Kriyat Shema, that's fine. But for your son, if he wants to be 5 minutes late to school, that's not fine. What is this? Where did he learn it from in the first place? What do you want from him? And that's why I say to all those, and I'm sure they're going to be watching, they all told me they're going to be watching because I told them I'm responding tonight, that didn't agree with what I was thinking last week. But if you want to take it up with Hashem, because He's the one who decided this way. And if I have to choose God's opinion, or Lahavdil Elef Alfei Avdalot, Rasha Merusha, Freud's opinion, I choose God's opinion first. Chazal HaKadoshim teach us that to have a close friend is more important than having a brother who lives far away. Close physically. And there's many pshatim why. Tov v'shachem karov me'ach rachok. What do you need? A brother? Family? Blood's thicker than water, right? That's what the Italians used to say. Today they don't live by it anymore, but they used to at least. What happened? Tov Shachem karov, to have a neighbor that's close to you. Why is that more important? Because the brother that's far, there's no benefit from. Somebody who's next door to you, who you see, who you interact with, who can be there for you, who can give you a hug, that you might gain from in a moment of truth. To keep Jews far away, for that Hashem doesn't need us in this world. To keep Jews our shchenim, very, very close. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs us in this world. Somebody called me today and asked me if I wasn't embarrassed to be seen with a certain person who has a whole long record and history of different interesting things that he does on the street a few days ago over here. I said, embarrassed? I'm so proud. He said, why? I said, because did God give up on him? No, because he's still alive. So why should I give up on him? And he told me, but that person's never going to change. So I asked him if he keeps Shabbat, and he told me yes. I said, I'm asking you not to keep Shabbat anymore. So he told me, why would you say that? I said, because you're an apikoros. You don't believe in Shabbat anyways. He says, what does one have to do with the other? I said, Hashem says, Shuv yom echad kodem mitatcha. Ad yom moto achakelo, that he waits for every Jewish person till the last second he's alive, till his last breath. And you saying about a Jew that he's never going to change. So that means you don't believe in Hashem. So why are you wasting your time keeping Shabbat? You don't believe it in any way. To you it's all a joke. Because Baruch Hu says even the greatest Rasha in the world, even the person who did the worst things in the world, always has tshuva, always has an opportunity to come back. And you decided otherwise, so you don't believe in it anyway. He still didn't agree with me. So he told me, but it's a chilul Hashem, you're a respectable person and that. I said, first of all, don't give me so much respect. It's all right, I don't need respect. I said, second of all, what's the chilul Hashem? Just the opposite, it's a kiddush Hashem. That there was somebody who cared enough about a troublemaker to actually stand and talk to him. Unlike everybody else that didn't care enough, and that's why he ended up where he ended up in the first place. Unbelievable. That wasn't my subject tonight, but that I had to do as a courtesy response to all my beloved critics. No, I really love them. That means they listen. I never know if anybody listens to what I have to say. When somebody responds, I know they listened. So it's good news. So I felt good. It was a stroke to my ego, I must say. And now what I want to talk about tonight. Kind of a random subject I put on tonight. Honestly, it didn't come calculated much. In the morning, they sent me, send out a text. And I was like, what am I putting in the topic? I was going to leave it blank because nothing came to mind. And in front of me was bread, salt, and I was reading an email of a story of a miracle. And that's where tonight's subject came from. But now listen to the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu works. Isn't that a creative way to come up with topics? It works. I got the bread, I got the salt, I got the miracle, and I got it all in one. And I got a very serious message from it too. I was in eastern Pennsylvania, far. I had to go there, tzorich mitzvah, to help somebody. I left last night about 11:15 after we learned a little bit, a few guys in Manana. And I got there in the middle of the night, I did what I had to do in the morning, and I drove back. It was a long ride here, I gotta tell you. And that's why I had bread and salt, because beyond that there wasn't much to eat kosher in that place. Thank God I found OU bread, and salt also with an OU. Pad v'melach tochal pshuto kemashmao. Now there's a long ride back, so part of the ride I utilized to talk on the phone, this one, now, and answer some phone calls. But after a while I said, I need my voice for tonight. How much could you talk already? Enough, I don't stop talking. So I said, maybe now it's time to listen. So I went onto my app, and I randomly chose, I didn't go through, I was driving, I wasn't going to be busy on the phone. Whatever showed up first on my app, first rabbi, first speech, happened to be in Hebrew, boom, put it on. And listen to what he said over. I don't remember his name, you forgive me. But listen to what he said, this is wild. Seems like he's a popular speaker in Israel. And he speaks mainly to youngsters on weekends, Shabbatons. The way he described it is that he can count on one hand how many Shabbats throughout the year he's actually home. Because him and his family every weekend are somewhere else, with, each school makes a school Shabbat, or this Shabbat, that Shabbat. So by the time you're done with the boys' schools and the girls' schools and the seminars, that's all the weekends of the year. And he said one Shabbat, he was scheduled to be in Tveria. Some sort of You know, it's a school, they don't take nice hotels, some sort of youth hostel, whatever it is. And 400 girls were there. And he was supposed to talk for Shabbat, a few drashot, for 400 girls. This is Friday afternoon. They're doing early Shabbat, this was in the summer. He comes downstairs to start the services. They arranged the Minyan, so the girls should be able to join a prayer with a Minyan, big mitzvah, Hekadish, Ensa Barachu, big zechut. Says when he comes down, the principal of the school comes to him and tells him, Rabbi, listen, I know on the schedule it says that we're doing Kabbalat Shabbat, and then you're speaking for 30 minutes, and then we're doing Arvit, and then so on. The schedule has to change. So he says, no problem, I work for you, whatever you want, I'm getting paid. Tell me what you want to change, we change it. So she said this morning, we left where the school was, somewhere in the southern part of Israel, he said. He said a name, I don't remember the name of the town, or city. He said, we left at 6 a.m. We went from there, a few-hour bus ride to Miron, to pray by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Shacharit. From there, we went to other places. They went from place to place. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we got to Tveria. We were going to the Kinneret, a place called Lido. Some of you might know what that is. There's a restaurant there, and there's also boat rides you could take there. And the girls were going on a boat ride. And the plan was that when they go on their chartered boat ride, we brought that was prepared at 5 in the morning, and packaged and cooled and everything, sandwiches, 800 sandwiches for 400 girls, 2 sandwiches each girl. They should have lunch on the boat. Before we get onto the boat, I tell one of the staff members, make sure to bring the food. They open the thing in the bottom of the bus to take out the coolers, and there's no food. What turns out, a few girls volunteered the whole night to prepare and to package and to put it in cooling and they forgot it in the school. The school's in Beersheba, 3 hours away. Now what? So the principal goes running to the local supermarket, buys, whatever it is, junk food, I guess, and whatever she could do, she distributes to the girls. So she tells the rabbi, these girls are after a long day. They came to school at 6 a.m. ready to leave. That means they're probably up from 4. They didn't eat anything normal all day. They're starving. No songs by Kabbalat Shabbat. No speech. No nothing. Rip straight through the prayer. No shalom aleichem, nothing. The malachim will stay, whatever it is. We'll figure it out with them. Straight kiddush. Straight kiddush. The rabbi says, makes sense. I agree with you. He says, let me tell you a secret, principal. I also had a long day. I'm also hungry, so it actually works out very well for me too. He says, he did such an express mincha, Kabbalat Shabbat, and Avit, it almost felt like they only prayed mincha. That's how fast they did it. And they went down to the dining room. Now they have a dining room, 400 girls, a few staff members and their husbands, and this rabbi is supposed to make kiddush for everybody. Pours the cup, everything express, right? The girls got to eat. He says the tables are filled, kol tuv sheba'olam. Beautiful. He's about to make kiddush, and a girl comes running out of the kitchen, running to him and says, Rabbi, you got to stop. And the principal's giving dirty looks to him. No stopping now. And he says, I can't stop. What do you mean? I'm holding the cup. Kiddush. Everybody's waiting. You have to stop. You can't make kiddush. What do you mean you can't make kiddush? I'll make kiddush, then I'll talk to you. No. This comes before kiddush. So he tells the girl, what is it, pikuach nefesh? She said, yeah. Pikuach nefesh. He says, what do you need? He says, come to the kitchen. So what do you want me to do in the kitchen? I'm not a mashgiach, I'm not a chef, and right now, I know I have to make kiddush. I need you to come to the kitchen. All right, he goes with her to the kitchen. By now the principal tags along too. She's not so happy about this. And she says like this. She and a few girls volunteered to save money for the expenses of the hotel, not to have to pay for wait staff, to be the waitresses for the girls. So she went into the kitchen to set up things before the meal. And this is the sight that she sees. 6 empty boxes of pizza. 1 box of pizza on the top, a 7th box that's halfway full. Sitting right beside the oven, and there's only 1 oven. She asked one of the workers over there in the kitchen, what's this? And she very naively asked it. And he said, what do you mean, what's this? That was our lunch. He said, where'd you warm it up? She said, in the oven. He said, what do you mean in the oven? Isn't that where you made the meat? She said, yeah, we did it on different shelves. The meat was cooking in the bottom shelf, we put the pizza on the top shelf. said, what about a mashgiach? He said, we don't have a mashgiach. I said, what do you mean you don't have a mashgiach? So the principal says, wait a second. I knew they don't have a mashgiach here. But our deal was that you're bringing an outside caterer that has the hechsher of Rav Machfut Shlita. Where's the caterer that we ordered? So the guy in the kitchen's like, don't talk to me, talk to the owner. She goes running upstairs, she gets the owner, a guy named Chaim. She tells him, Chaim, what's going on? He says, let me tell you exactly what's going on. We made up that you're going to have X amount of payments in advance and I'll be paid in full 3 days before the event. Well, 3 days before the event came and went, and I didn't even get half my money. So I had two choices at that point. Either to cancel on you, but I didn't want to disappoint 400 girls, or to do the food myself to save costs, so in case I get stiff for the rest of the bill, at least I don't lose money. So I brought my own workers. What's the problem? Instead of complaining, say thank you. I could have shut you all down. You would have not been here at all. And she says, what do you mean? But it's not kosher. He said, it's all kosher. I bought everything, all the products I bought in a kosher place. He said, I don't know where you bought it, where you don't bought it. At this point, we trust nothing of you. But even if you bought it in a kosher place, your ovens weren't kosher, your pots aren't kosher, nothing's kosher. I said, sorry, ma'am, this is the best I could do. So the principal turns to the rabbi and says, what do we do now? We got 400 hungry girls downstairs. So the rabbi says, let me go into the kitchen and see what I can figure out. Now in America, at least we would say they could eat fruits and vegetables. In Israel, you can't even do that. There's a problem with trumot and masrot. So you can't even eat salad. You can't even eat anything. He goes into the kitchen, and very, very quickly, the workers talk to him very openly. They have nothing to hide. They don't know kosher, not kosher. They're all Arabs except for one. And they're not interested in nothing. And they start telling him exactly how they made everything. And it turns out that they tell him, naively, without realizing, that the Rabbi, don't do this to the girls. We made an unbelievable meat. We got an amazing recipe that we just heard about, that if you put butter on top of the meat, it makes it softer. Butter on top of the meat, it makes it softer. You're laughing. But some people say, I keep kosher, and then I said, do you eat out? Yeah. Only in kosher restaurants? No, I only eat salad. That's the same logic. There's no difference whatsoever. Just the opposite. Basar v'chalav is one isur. Eating lettuce somewhere else, every bug is 5 times chazir. 5 times. 5,000 times worse to eat salad out. That's not keeping kosher. At least don't lie to yourself. Say, I'm not a Jew. Well, you know, Judaism doesn't mean anything to me. I eat whatever I want. But don't lie to yourself. Why would you want to lie to yourself? Isn't that the cheapest thing to do possible in life? So now they know they have basar v'chalav, nevelot v'trefot, everything. But the naive Israeli guy who did this didn't even mean bad. He bought meat with a good hechsher, and he bought butter with a good hechsher. Just happens to be that they weren't supposed to mix. The rabbi says in the speech, listen to what I'm listening on the way home. On the way here, I mean. That he, after going through all the products and what they made and how they did everything, there wasn't one thing in the entire place that the girls could eat. Except for 2 items of solids and 1 liquid. Bread that came from a bakery, salt, and soda. That's it. And at that point, even the wine I can't drink for Kiddush because it's Yain Nesach. And this is what I'm hearing after my bread and salt idea this morning. Bread, salt, and soda. Now what does it do? He walks into the dining room and he tells them, girls, I got news for you. We got a very, very rare opportunity that most people don't get in their lifetime. To be in Israel, on a vacation, quote unquote, in a school setting, on Shabbat, and to eat bread, salt, and soda. Because everything here is not kosher. Everybody give me a hand, let's wrap the tablecloths up, throw everything out, so nobody should make the mistake and eat anything. And we're going to make kiddush on challah, and we're going to have challah and seltzer for the first course, and challah and coke for the second course. We'll make it work. Thank God there were no Bukharian husbands there, otherwise people would have went to prison. You're not gonna eat? Who cares where I got the meat from? It's kosher. I got it, yeah, I got it over there in that street on Queens Boulevard. It said on the sign kosher. Why don't you grill the sign and eat that? Because that's the only thing kosher in that store. Put the sign on the grill, maybe with the owner, and eat that. He koshered it! The guy doesn't even know Hebrew, never learned the Siman and Shulchan Aruch. He koshered it! I once went to a house like that. They wanted to serve me dinner. I said, where's the meat from? They said, we go to some slaughterhouse, and we take the meat and we kosher it ourselves. So I asked them a few questions in halakha. They didn't know nothing, zero, not even like by accident. And every time I said, where'd you get this from? They said, our grandmother did it that way. Usual stupid answer. So how am I supposed to explain? So I said, but what'd you do? We poured salt, a lot of salt, the lady tells me, a lot of salt. I said, and that's it, and now it's kosher, everything's beautiful? Yeah, kosher l'ma'adim. Rabbi, on me, she tells me. On me, you can eat, no problem, on me. I said, you know what? I agree with you. But hold on 1 second, I want to go to the kitchen for 1 second. I went to the kitchen, she was still in the middle of cooking. Fresh to order the food was, unbelievable house. And this is not saying cynically. Fresh to order. I see a big box of kosher salt, a big triangle, rectangle, cardboard box of kosher salt. She has a big pot over there. She was making some rice with some green stuff inside. I took the box of salt. I opened the top, so it should be open completely. Turned the whole box of salt upside down into the rice. And she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "It's kosher."
Now it's really kosher.
Super kosher. I said, "But you just ruined the food." I said, "And you were about to ruin my neshama." I said, "And that's on you, and this is on me. Go ahead, eat it. Tfaddal. Enjoy." Kosher. Not a joke. So the girls agree. And he makes them kiddush on challah, and there's not much to eat. He said that was the worst thing for him, besides the fact that he was hungry. But he has to speak also. I don't know if any of you guys speak in public frequently, but speaking for an hour is like going to the gym for a week. It takes every last drop out of you. I don't care how many voice lessons you go to. It doesn't make a difference. Now the meal's over quickly. If the meal's over, he said he was banking on that at least, probably dessert, they bought ice cream, that's going to have an extra. So he said when it came to dessert, he tells the guy, "You got ice cream at least for these girls? Ices, something?" He said, "No." So why not? She said, "She didn't pay me. She didn't pay me." Huh? So he gave him a long speech Friday night. Shabbat day, the same cycle over again, everything over and over again. 3 meals, bread, salt, and soda. So at the end of Sudah Shlishit, he looks at 400 Jewish girls that don't come from such religious backgrounds at all, that were willing to sacrifice everything, their whole trip, their whole everything, just for the sake of being proud Jewish girls. He said, and he walks into the room by Sudah Shlishit, and he tells them like this. Chazal HaKadoshim teach us that when a person makes great sacrifice for the sake of keeping a mitzvah, in exchange he can ask Hashem to make great sacrifice to give him what he needs in his life. So that means right now in Shamayim it's a big Sha'at Ratzon, it's a big Eit Ratzon. He says, "Girls, I'm not allowed to hear Kol Isha. I can't hear women singing. I'm going to go out. But you girls should get together and sing the song, Tehei Hasha'ah Zot Sha'at Rachamim Ve'eit Ratzon Milfanecha." This moment should be a moment of will and mercy in front of Hashem. And each one should pray for whatever they need. He says he walks out of the room. They called him back later for Avit and Avdalah. He did Avit and Avdalah. Shabbat's over. And now the principal could start making phone calls to find them something to eat. He says his job was over Saturday night. The girls were staying there Saturday night, and they were going on another trip on Sunday somewhere else. Probably they upgraded their trip for Sunday already to compensate. And as he's leaving, he sees the Israeli owner of the place. And he goes over to him and he tells him, "Chaim, what you did really wasn't okay. Because the least you could have done He said, I'm not judging you. I understand that you don't want to get messed over with money, and I'm sure a lot of schools don't exactly pay on time, unfortunately. But at least you should have called her and let her know. Or at least you should have told her Friday afternoon what happened. So if she wants, she has a chance to plan something else. But to do that, and Friday night, for a school is Shomer Shabbat, and for a woman is Shomer Shabbat, that's not fair. And Chaim turns to this rabbi and he says, what I did was wrong. Aval me'az yatsa matok. But from the bitter, something sweet's going to come out. And he said, what's going to come out sweet exactly from this? That the girls are going to hate your place forever and everybody's going to know you can't be trusted? He said, no. He said, I want to tell you a story. He says, I have only one son, one child. And he just turned 4 years old. And he has to go to Gan, K'tam Chova, preschool. And my wife comes from a traditional home. Hebrew it's called Masorti. You know what a Masorti means? You know what Masor is in Hebrew? Masor in Hebrew means a saw. Masorti means every day they cut a different part of the Torah and throw it in the garbage. This I don't do, this is not my tradition, this I'm not interested in. If you go to a hardware store in Lowe's, they have Masor A, Masor B, Masor C, Masor T. They have all the Masors that you want. Every day cut a different part of the Torah and throw it away. I said, but my wife wanted him to go to a school that's Masor T, that's tradition. I said, I'm not religious, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in anything. I want nothing to do with it. He says, for a whole week we're fighting at home on the, where's the boy? And this is my only son. He said, I can't take a risk of this kid going to a school that's traditional or religious. He says, if my son grows up religious, he says, I need tabed. I'm going to commit suicide. I won't be able to handle it. Some parents tell their kids, you became religious? You're keeping Shabbat? You're killing me! That's their problem in life, that the kid became religious. You're killing me! Hashem should forgive me for saying this, but maybe we have to tell them at that point, drop dead. And I don't mean that literally, obviously. What does mean killing me? That's what's killing you, that the person's listening to Hashem? You should be dancing and singing all day, that you had a merit to have a kid that's a Shomer Shabbat. You should be bowing down to him. That's killing you? Once a father came to me and told me, you kidnapped my son. Ooh, what an accusation. I said, I was accused for a lot of things in my life. Bring it on, my friend. What else? How did I kidnap your son? He said he listens to you on WhatsApp, and he doesn't want to go to high school next year, to public school. He only wants to go to yeshiva. You brainwashed him. You kidnapped him. He says, give me my son back. He says, I want you to get up there and speak about how you have to listen to your parents and go to the school that they choose. I told him I'm going to get up there and say that if a kid wants to go to yeshiva, he has no mitzvah of kibud avayim, and if he doesn't have the money to go to yeshiva, he should go to wonderful organizations like Chazak and others in Queens that claim that they pay for people's tuitions, and hopefully they do, and they'll pay for the tuition and go yourself to yeshiva. I said, that's what I'm going to say. Because that's what the halakha says. He said, but that's brainwashing. I said, you're right. That I agree to. For years I've been called a brainwasher. I'm very proud of it. It's a badge of honor. It really is. And it's very simple why. Just up the block on Main Street is a great place. I like stopping there sometimes on my way in here. The car wash. My car is filthy from the whole week. It goes in one side, comes out sparkling clean. Even the rims, I could look inside and see myself. They become like a mirror. They do such a good job of it. And all for $10. I said, I do the same exact thing. I got a center for brainwashing. The mind comes in dirty, it comes out clean, and now the kid is healthy. It can go on in life. And I'm proud. This Chaim tells the rabbi, he says, Chacham, listen to me. A whole Shabbat I'm sitting here looking to find one girl that's cheating. Or one girl that's going to come to me and say, sneak me some food, I'm hungry. And 400 girls, not one broke the rules. And nobody would have known. I would have helped them with anything gladly. Off the record. I felt so bad for them. He said, if that's the self-discipline that Torah education can teach a child, my son is going to a yeshiva. He said, not a Masorti school, not a Dati school, a regular yeshiva. said, so it's true I messed up, but at least something good came out of it. And this rabbi goes running right back to the dining room downstairs where the girls are already in the middle of one of their activities. And he says, stop everybody, I got to tell you a story. And he brings this Chaim with him. And he says, Chaim, tell him what just happened. And he said, you remember I told you by Sudash Lishit that when we do the right thing, big miracles happen. Look what a miracle happened. The Jewish soul was just saved. Maybe one day it'll be a big Talmid Chacham as well. But the story is not done. A couple of days later, this principal stays over. And she's sitting in her office in school. And she gets a phone call. A phone call from a very, very wealthy philanthropist. He tells her these words. She says, were you in Tveria over the weekend with your students? She says, yeah. He says, can you tell me about it a little bit? She said, no. He said, why not? He says, it was a nightmare. Forget about it. It's over. He says, no, I want to know. He said, I don't want to talk about it. It's a sore subject. She says, she tells her in Hebrew, I'll just tell you this. Everything possible that can go wrong on a logistic level went wrong. He says, that's exactly what I want to know. There's some gentleman who owns the place that you were in, happens to be a close friend of mine. His name is Chaim. He called me, he told me the whole story. You don't got to tell me nothing. I just want to validate with you and know if that's true. She said, yeah, it's true. Everything he said is right. He said, I'll tell you something else. I took a little ride by your school this morning. And I was curious to see the school, the girls, who are these people? And I saw that your place is half a building, half caravans, one big nightmare disaster. This is not a school. How do you have 400 girls in a place like that? This is what I do. I have no money. This is the best we could do. And he tells her, I'm giving $15 million to build you a gorgeous building. Let's get the ball rolling right away. Tehei asha azot shat rachamim ve'eit ratzon milfanecha. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees that 400 girls are willing to do it for a teenage girl's mesirut nefesh, that when they're on their school Shabbat, to say, I won't eat, and I'm going to eat bread and salt, then he brings them all the miracles that they need. What sacrifices are we willing to make tonight? To show that we're proud to be a Jew. To show that we appreciate the fact that God was willing to be stepped on, that we could be here tonight. What sacrifices? I'll tell you what the greatest sacrifice of all is to learn to forgive. We're all stuck in the past. He's never going to change. That's the most common thing you hear from every wife in the world. He's never going to change. Maybe look in the mirror. Maybe your partner, it takes two to tango. No, she's crazy. Every husband you ask him about his wife, Gomrim alav et ha'halel. They have a lot of praises and many quotations to say. Low life. She cooks for you, she takes care of you, she cares about you. You tell her you're coming home for supper at 6, you're home at 11 o'clock at night and there's still food in the house instead of a locked door like it should be. And you're still complaining? Every time I go with my friends on Sunday to football, she gives me a hard time. I say, Halavai, those should be your problems in life. Amen. Sunday football. So besides, I have a great idea. Instead of going to Sunday football, come to Sunday Gemara class and I'll speak there, not to give you a hard time. I said, and you and me will play football. I'll throw at you a question, you'll throw at me an answer, and vice versa. It'll be very interesting. And we'll tackle the Gemara. It'll be the big leagues. We live in the past. A year ago, this. 17 years ago, somebody told me recently, he said this and this to me in front of my family. I said, but 17 years went by. 17 years! I don't forgive him till today. I said, you got a problem? I don't know how to help problems like that. I said, sorry. I have an Eitzah, Shabbat in the morning, but I said, we make a Misha Berach Lacholeh for a person like that. Hashem should give him Fuat HaNefesh, normal head. 70 years ago. I know a couple that's married 51 years. That's very rare in 2017 to be able to say that. And the wife recently told me, my husband still owes me a honeymoon. I said, wow, you lasted for 51 years waiting. You're a pretty big hero. I said, but by the way, you should just know, al pi halacha, he does owe you that. So she said, what do you mean? Why so, what's that? He said, the Chazon Ish is an interesting psak in halacha. And nobody argues on this. He says, the halachot shana rishona, he says, is an obligation of a husband to a wife. It's just like borrowing money, they have to pay it back no matter what. Same idea. He says that if somebody didn't keep his obligation the first year he's married, even if he's married 40 years, year 40, he has to take a year and do it and keep the halachot shana rishona. It's a regular full obligation. I have many, many couples over the years that came to me with different issues that I told them, now you have to start Shana Rishona, you never did it. Yeah, they got married, they made a big event, there was towers of food, there was a lot of envelopes, they were broke at the end of the whole night, and then they went on some sort of honeymoon to Europe for 3 weeks. 3 weeks later the honey was over, and they're both looking at the moon waiting for each other to get out of their lives. Now you gotta go, make a Shana Rishona. If you would have done it the halakha way, your marriage would look very, very different today. Your relationship would look very different today. Because God created you, and He created relationships. So His formula obviously is going to be the right one, because He's the manufacturer of the concept. And your formula is going to be, no matter what, the wrong one. Because you're not the manufacturer of the concept. Not because you're bad, because the manufacturer knows better.
So what is the right way?
That, we have a whole series on marriage, tell them to send you the recordings, and you'll hear. But if you want to know in one sentence, don't look back. Who cares what was yesterday? It doesn't make a difference. Does that make a difference now? Who cares? You have a way to go back to yesterday? Well, yesterday was hot and humid. Most people don't want to go back to yesterday, but some of us want to go back to January now. You have a way to go back to January? It's over. So now what? You can live in the past your whole life and destroy your future? For what reason? For what reason? Kol yom yiyu beinecha kechadashim. Chazal say that about the Torah. That we should go learn Torah with new excitement every day, as if it was the first time we're learning. Ki netinatam misinai. I'm telling you as derech mashal. Of course, this is not the real pshat. Kol yom, every day, yiyu beinecha kechadashim. Let your life and everything around you, all the lives around you, especially those that you love, look like it's brand new. Start a new day. Who cares what was last night? Go forward, not backwards. And the most important thing in the world is Hashem oz le'amo yiten. Hashem gives us strength. And currently, Am Yisrael and the world at large needs strength in many, many areas, more than ever. In what merit? Hashem yivarech et amo bashalom. The source of all blessing comes from peace. Gadol hashalom. That's what Chazal say. What's the greatest thing in the world? Shalom, peace. And there's no price in the world that's worth paying. I'm not talking about fake peace. Ceasefires is not peace. There's no price in the world that's not willing to pay for the sake of peace. Obviously with healthy people. Those people are crazy. That's a different story. You have to know how to deal with each one's a separate question. But I'm talking about the general rule. I want to end off with an amazing story. In Taf Shin Ayin Dalet. It's not that long ago. There was in the month of Adar, a family decided that Purim, they're all getting together. I a lot of times recommend families Purim, they shouldn't get together. Because everybody drinks. And a lot of times brothers don't really love each other so much. Sisters-in-law definitely don't love each other so much. Mothers-in-laws and daughters-in-law we don't have to talk about. Because that's a davar pashut, everybody knows that one. There was a lady screaming out of the window one day in one of the buildings, "Help, help, help." Happens to be a nice guy from Matzella was driving by. He heard this thing. He went running upstairs. He says, "What do you need?" He said, "My mother-in-law is trying to jump out of the window." He said, "So where is it? Let me go." He says, "No, the problem is not that she's trying to jump out. I can't get the window open for her." So now we know, right? Now you put a bunch of people that fake each other's smiles, but deep down don't get along, and stick a whole lot of alcohol into them. The formula for disaster is waiting to happen. But in healthy families, that the love is really there, Adarabah, Simchat Chaverim, you should sit together, Sudat Purim. This family overall got along, they were good friends, everything, they sat together, Sudat Purim. But who hosted that year Sudat Purim? One of the brothers, who just built a new gorgeous house. So he figured he has the biggest house and everything, so he's going to host. Makes sense. There's a little bit of a mistake with that. You know why? Some of you moms in the room should think about this. Is your son a slave to your couch, or is your couch a service to your son? Get off the couch! You're wearing shoes! Get off the couch! You're eating popcorn! So what'd you buy a couch for? For your son to be a slave to a piece of leather? Don't have a couch. Take off your shoes by the door. So now your son is now you made your son less than the floor. The son, he's less than the floor. The floor that you step on is worth more than your own kid. Take off your shoes by the door. There's one place in the world that we take off our shoes by the entrance to the Beit HaMikdash. Inshallah b'karov b'mei Rav Yaakov. To your house. To your house. Somebody told me, my house is a mikdash ma'at. I said, a very interesting mikdash. The Aron Kodesh is the TV in the dining room. Very interesting Beit Mikdash. Take off your shoes! Your son is worth less than the floor. How does that make sense? Listen to this. So when you build a new fancy house, it's a wrong thing to host a Purim party. Purim people get drunk. They make a mess. Kids come, they make a double mess. You know, some people don't know how to handle their liquor. It gets even worse. Things break. Even the Manana talks about Kubi doesn't have to pay, at least B'dinei Adam. And it's not Purim. You go to an old house. You go to somebody's house who's painting anyway before Pesach. That's what you do Purim. They went, and everybody was ketovli bo bayayin, a nice, beautiful Sudat Purim. And one of the sisters had two young kids that had a little bit extra energy. My doctor, when I was younger, said I also had a lot of energy. Baruch Hashem, I still do, I hope until 120. He said some fancy name about it. It had a lot of H's and D's involved. I think for me, he added a few extras. And then he wanted to give me some pill to take away my energy. So Hashem gave me such a blessing that I have energy. You want to take it away? Why would I do that? I said, Baruch Hashem, I'm full of energy. I was 6 years old. I said, why would I do that? Thank God, I have energy. I said, because you're an old man who doesn't get up from a chair, I have to become like you? For what? I said, hopefully, I'll be blessed. I'll use my energy for good things in life. Fine. She had two of those kids that had a lot of energy. And when the adults were busy eating and drinking, they were busy checking out the uncle's new house. So they tried the alarm system, they tried they tried the camera system, but they're very hands-on kids. So they wanted to see what's behind the thermostat, not what's in front of the thermostat. What's behind the camera? How does it work? What's this? What happens if you throw a baseball at the camera? Will it break or not? You know, they had a few experiments that they had to check. This is important information for young boys. The older people weren't really paying attention. Suddenly this guy, the new homeowner, decides that he's going outside to smoke a cigarette. And as he's going outside, he stands in his front porch, he's smoking a cigarette, and he sees his two nephews climbing up some tree that he just bought for $7,000 and cutting a branch down. And there's a $7,000 tree. I don't know, I heard the name of it, but I'm not so familiar. It comes from Japan, something, I don't know what, something holy. I mean, you left with a hole in your pocket by the time you planted it. Literally holy. He sees them doing this. What's he going to do, yell at the kids? That drunk he wasn't. But instead he goes in and he starts yelling at his sister. You have no respect. I bring you to my house. And everything he was inside all the years, he told her at once. Look at your kids, they're a bunch of animals, they're this, they're that. So she went out and she asked the kids, what's up? What are you doing? I said, what do you mean? This is like Haman's tree. We got to cut it down. Haman's tree? They weren't far off because that tree has red leaves. Red is Edom, Esav. Esav came from Haman. The tree, there was some rationale behind these kids' actions. He embarrassed her terribly, and she made a promise. Some of us promise money to tzedakah, hopefully we give it. Others promise to do Torah and mitzvot. She did a different promise. He's no longer my brother. Done. Takes her kids, takes her drunk husband, throws them in a car and goes home. Purim became Shabbat. Months go by. And they don't talk. And if there's a family event, they have to plan. The husbands between them. I'll be there from 6 to 8. You'll come at 8:15 to 10, and don't come at 8. Chas v'shalom, shouldn't overlap by 1 minute because all hell's going to break loose. And this is going on for a long time. Simchat Torah. Shmini Atzeret in Israel is the same day. The husband goes to his wife, and he tells his wife, Ad matai, until when's this going to go on? He's so childish. He was drunk, he didn't know what he was saying, not that it justifies it. At the end of the day, our kids weren't exactly so innocent either. They were destroying his brand new tree. And as it is, we already read, the whole house was wrecked, and I'm sure he regretted the hosting. A blowout happens! Now it's time to make peace. We got to make a ceasefire. She said, first of all, I don't know if I'm interested, but even if I want to, who said he's going to be interested? Said, let's see, we'll negotiate. Let's see what we can do. So it goes back and forth, back and forth. Finally, the brother says he's willing to meet his sister, but he wants to meet her alone in a private place and to have an open discussion about everything and see what comes out of it. They make up for the next day. She didn't trust him to sit with him in a private room, see how far this went, in the lobby of a hotel. She figured at least there's security, and if things get out of hand, there'll be somebody to look over, watch after. Her husband drives her there, and in the car he tells her these words. There's no price in the world that's not worth paying for the sake of peace. Just remember that. She goes into the meeting, and he opens her mouth again, and if what he said on Purim was bad, now he's sober, so he knew how to dagger even harder. He pretty much reminded her from the day she was born until that day, every single thing that she did that rubbed his nerves the wrong way. And she had a lot to say back. She's a very intelligent, sharp woman. And she played in her mind her husband's words over and over again. There's no price that's not worth paying for the sake of peace. She didn't say a word. When he finished, he said, what do you have to say? He was polite. After killing her, he said, what do you have to say? He said, I'll tell you the truth. Obviously, it makes no difference if you're right or wrong, because it's bothering you. Look how much it's bothering you. So all I have to say is 2 words. I'm sorry. And tell me how I could do better for the future. At that point, he already melted a little bit. He realized, his sister, what's he fighting? Kids, it took a few more minutes. They made a ceasefire. They ended in love and harmony. He got all his garbage out. It's like a root canal. You dig it all out, fill it up with a little love, everything's fine. She was a little wounded along the way, of course, but okay, Gadol Shalom, peace. She goes home, her husband's in the car, tells her what happened. She says, don't ask what happened, I'm not even going to repeat it Lashon Hara about my brother. But it ended very well. She said, it makes no difference what he said, what he didn't say, there's no reason to chew it up, it's a waste of time. And, but what makes a difference is one thing. That at the end, we made peace and everything, and unbelievable. And it's unbelievable to the point that I invited him to us for Shabbat with his family. And he said he's coming. Like, that's how far it is. Fine. The husband looks at his wife and he says, now let me tell you something. The rabbis teach us that when somebody makes peace in Shamayim, Hashem says, Hashem oz la'amo yiten, He gives them a special strength. Now is your moment of strength to pray. Your brother that you just made peace with is married for 3 years and doesn't have any kids. If you really made peace with him, pray for him now that he should have a child. And the wife looks at her husband and she says, I don't get it. But Baruch Hashem, we have 2 boys, but we want more kids, and we also can't have kids. We have trouble having kids. Why shouldn't I pray for us? He said, you don't have to pray for you. Somebody who prays for somebody else and he needs the same thing, he'll get answered first. Pray for him now that he should have a kid. And she prayed from the depths of her heart on the way home that night that her brother, that just went to war with her, should have a child. They get home. This was Tishrei, right? Right after Simchat Torah. Tafshin Hey already, because Rosh Hashanah turns to Tafshin Hey. This year's Tafshin Zayin. In Chodesh Kislev, the brother had a baby girl. In Chodesh Tevet, on the day of Asara B'Tevet, she had a baby boy. 8 days later, she made a brit, and she named the baby Shalom. Hashem Oz Where does the strength from a Jew come from? Yivarech et amo b'shalom. If anybody of us have, God forbid, and now Minyan doesn't exist, Baruch Hashem, but in other places it does, you have beef with somebody, you don't get along with somebody, you're fighting with somebody, settle it before Shabbat. Settle it before Rosh Chodesh Av. Settle everything. Just settle it. Forgive and forget and move on and just turn the page. That doesn't mean you should allow yourself to be abused. That doesn't mean you should be stepped on. God forbid. That's a different subject for a different time. You have to know how to stand up for your rights, that's for sure. But in a Torah way, the way Hashem says to do it. Not the way your mood and your emotions and your anger says to do it. And Mischut HaShalom, Gadol HaShalom, and a special thank you and encouragement to many of you tzaddikim who are involved. We're doing an amazing thing now. And many of you I saw without, I sent one little request and so many people got involved. This is based on nothing, it's just based on my instinct. I said if God doesn't have a home for 1949 years, and the one thing that it says in Chazal is like rebuilding the temple, is helping people get married that otherwise wouldn't be able to for financial reasons, especially in Israel and more so orphans. I decided that from Shiva Asar Tammuz, including the day of Shiva Asar Tammuz, until at least Tisha B'Av, but depending on what comes in is how far we'll go. My dream is to continue this till Yom Kippur. I give out $1,949 to an Israeli widow or orphan every day that is getting married and needs the money towards the wedding. And this has been unbelievable. And I really believe we're rebuilding Yerushalayim with this. You don't understand. I think this is an amazing... it has a symbolic idea. It's exactly what it says. It's not taking showers for 9 days and stinking and causing Baal Teshaktu for everybody. It's not doing all these things that Api Halacha, there's a lot of discussion if they have to be done or not. It's doing what Hashem wants, helping other Jews. And I gotta say, a lot of credit to a lot of you. You guys are great. So many of you did so much for this project, whether it's talking to other friends to get involved, whether it's giving yourself, whether it's just encouraging and saying, wow, another amazing project that we're doing. And everybody knows this is before the Elul stuff, right? In Elul we got like 5 more projects that we're getting into. So it's not like it ever ends, right? As long as the need is here, we keep on doing because that's how it goes. And you guys are all doing it. Ashrechem umatov chelkechem. You should know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees each and every brick that we're building on this temple. And inshallah, before Rosh Chodesh Av, we should see the Beit Mikdash come down. B'meirat Yameinu, amen v'amen.